When I found out about the overtime, I started mentally cataloging every item in Ethan's office. From the leather sofa to his used toothbrush. I muttered about selling them all after work to hire 18 male models. Ethan happened to overhear and snapped. "Are you out of your mind? Why don't you just auction me off while you're at it?" Having second thoughts? As the executive assistant, I now stood outside the conference room holding freshly brewed coffee. Even through soundproof doors, his rapid-fire insults carried crystal clear. "What exactly do I pay you brainless amoebas for? Did you write this proposal with your feet? 20 pages in and I still can't decipher this word vomit. With your communication skills, I wouldn't even know who died at my own funeral. You evolutionary dead ends really showed up without brains. Didn't you? Am I funding your paycheck or your early retirement?" The conference room turtles kept their heads down. I wisely retreated with the coffee carafe. No way was I playing target practice during his meltdown. He could skip one caffeine fix. I wasn't volunteering for extra abuse. After my strategically timed bathroom break, I returned to find the coast clear. Recaffeinating, I headed for the corner office. The ajar door revealed Lucy from accounting, who got the job through connections. Wearing a skin-tight pencil skirt and 10-centimeter red-soled stilettos with full glam makeup. "Mr. Sullivan, your coffee," she simpered, performing an exaggerated lean-over that threatened both the desk and her balance. Ethan remained statuesque behind his mahogany desk. His aristocratic features scolded an icy detachment. "Who authorized your presence? This isn't your department." "But Nancy asked me to." "Funny." He cut in without looking up. "My assistant wouldn't delegate without my knowledge." "Get out." Lucy's collagen-enhanced pout trembled as she executed an Oscar-worthy stumble toward him, coffee sloshing dangerously. Ethan drawled. "That's a $20,000 Brioni suit. Calculate your dry cleaning budget before committing to theatrics." She miraculously recovered her footing. His gaze swept over her contrived display before landing a verbal kill shot. "The HR director's niece. Right? Tell your uncle his nepotism project ends at 5 p.m. You're wasting oxygen better used by competent staff." Dressed like that, what kind of workplace image are you going for? Are you trying to get the cops to arrest me? Ethan adjusted his gold-rimmed glasses, his long fingers tapping the desk. "I don't know why HR hired you. You can't even serve as decent eye candy. Trying to replace executive assistant Nancy? You're neither half as attractive nor 1,000th as competent." I bit back a smile. After all his criticism, the bastard finally acknowledged my value. My satisfaction proved premature. "Of course," he continued drily. "That wasn't complimenting her or insulting you. Merely stating facts. Like how executive assistant Nancy dresses more frumpily than my grandmother." Lucy's forced smile wavered. The intern's manicured nails dug into her Starbucks cup. "Or perhaps," Ethan's voice dipped into icy mockery, "you're aiming for the Mrs. Sullivan position? People shouldn't chase what was never theirs. Instead of delusional Cinderella fantasies, try self-improvement. I suggest starting with neurological exams, check for Parkinson's and epilepsy." Same old Ethan. The man could give lessons in verbal evisceration. Lucy fled in tears, shooting me a venomous glare at the door. "Executive assistant Nancy." His voice snapped like frost. "How much longer will you lurk there? Moonlighting as security?" I entered with resigned steps. "Here comes the collateral damage." He examined me like flawed merchandise. "I pay 7 figures annually not for entertainment value. Learn from telephone poles, know your place constantly. Show some situational awareness. If I get poisoned with my current net worth, you'll be sharing a cell with Martha Stewart." My eye twitched. For this salary, I could swallow insults. Get LASIK if needed, company coverage. I won't tolerate more randos approaching me. His gaze dropped to my blazer. "And executive assistant Nancy, do you own a mirror? Your frump factor's scaring off clients." Who'll compensate my losses? My forced chuckle died at his grimace. Ugh. Don't. Your smile's worse than the outfits. Ethan. You son of a, I choked back the words. This paycheck wasn't wages, it was humiliation compensation. Outside, Lucy shoved belongings into a box. Stilettos clacking with rage. Accounting department staff scurried from the CFO's roaring voice. You think you're special? She hissed. He loathes you more. Don't pretend I can't see your pathetic crush. God knows how you got this job, you're not fit to shine his shoes. I straightened, shedding my meek work persona. How unfortunate. I earned my position through actual qualifications, Ivy League MBA. Summa cum laude. My smile turned saccharine. But of course, that's no match for your unique third-tier college connections. MS. Carter. You usually cause me trouble. But today you got me yelled at and tried to frame me too. Think I'm some pushover everyone can mess with? Not spending a dime but still want to curse me out? Dream on. Using your height advantage. I leaned in close. Climbing the social ladder through men? Can't really say, never tried it myself. Different fields. Different worlds. Best of luck with that. Enjoy your resignation. Lucy. Couldn't out-argue her. Couldn't throw hands. What's left? Watch her fume helplessly. Felt damn good letting that frustration out. Moving forward brings freedom. Bottling things up just gives you health issues. Truer words never spoken. That afternoon. Loosening soil and watering the boss's money tree. My little shovel dug deeper as the empty office fueled my enthusiasm. Old habits resurfaced, started humming in this big corporate jungle. Dig, dig, dig. Thick paychecks still can't make ends meet. Mean old boss keeps screaming. A sudden snicker behind me. Ethan lounged against the doorframe, watching God knows how long. His lips quirked. Singing that well. Nancy? You got a death wish? Face burning crimson, tone deaf me caught mid-performance. Thinking of becoming a singer? Should I call the cops if you are? Ethan. Go fuck yourself. Labor Day weekend eve. Ethan just returned from business travel. With Jack on leave. I was sent to pick him up at the hotel. Crowds made spotting him impossible. Called, Sir. Where are you? His voice frosty. Across from you. Drove forward. Still don't see you. Maybe wave? Teeth-gritted reply, Nancy. I've been flagging cabs for 20 minutes. Arms about to fall off. Oh shit. Cold laughter. You drove right past. When he finally got in, I forced an apologetic smile. Ethan sprawled in the passenger seat, giving me that infuriating sidelong look. Got 2 marbles for eyes. All blink no look. Seriously considered arsenic-laced coffee. He continued, tonight. Go home and pack. You're coming on a business trip with me tomorrow. What? My grip on the steering wheel nearly slipped. I thought he'd forgotten. Ethan. Tomorrow's the May Day holiday. He seamlessly countered. I'm aware. This couldn't be happening. That gorgeous guy finally asked me to dinner tomorrow. Between my love for money and pretty faces. How could I stand up someone who kept calling me big sis in that velvety voice? I made one last attempt, sir. Could I possibly skip this trip? Ethan glanced at me, delivering his verdict with lethal calm, unless you're resigning. Pure retaliation. That petty, vindictive jerk. Fuming. I slammed the accelerator. The entire ride. I ignored his increasingly tense posture. When we reached the office building, he remained frozen in the passenger seat. Complexion shifting between green and white. Oh hell. I'd forgotten he gets carsick. Nancy. He bit out. During our 15-minute drive. You overtook 10 cars. Cut off 8 drivers. And cursed 6 pedestrians. Do you have chronic road rage issues? Show some consideration, riding shotgun with you should come with life insurance. I suggest you never drive again. I suggest you stop talking. Back at my desk organizing trip documents. My phone buzzed. The hottie messaged, "What time tomorrow? I'll pick you up." Guilt twisted my gut as I typed, "Rain check? Emergency business trip. So sorry." His reply came instantly, "No worries. Sis. I'll wait. Stay safe out there." Ugh. Why is he so perfect? I'm literally deceased. The file folders blurred as my resentment grew. With Ethan gone, I grabbed my phone and started filming a chaotic office tour, his monogrammed umbrella. Custom china. Even the Italian hand-knotted rug beneath my Louboutins. Panning across his leather throne of a sofa, I zoomed in on his private bathroom's toothbrush. Caption, "Liquidating the boss's assets tonight. Proceeds fund 18 male models." Posted it to social media without thinking. By bedtime, notifications exploded, 99 plus messages. The video went viral. Top comments stopped my breath. "Are you out of your mind? Why not sell me off while you're at it? Having second thoughts or something?" That signature sarcasm. My pulse spiked. The comment section is full of jokes. "Welcome to the live broadcast of the corporate train wreck. LMAO. First time seeing someone get caught by their boss while shitposting. OP, getting fired tomorrow for stepping into the office with my left foot first. This office is disgustingly luxurious." Posting the $1.49 link on my profile. Deadass serious. "Boss, you selling my office now? Boss, better sleep with one eye open tonight. Kid. Look at him pretending to care by asking if you're mentally ill. You're such a legend for adding him just to reject the request. Who the hell sells used toothbrushes? That's beyond messed up. If the bristles are frayed, just gift it to me." I glanced at my profile name, my boss's a dumbass, and felt sudden dread. No way. He doesn't use this app. Right? Checked the trending accounts page, empty except matching my city's IP. Breathed easier. Then my phone lit up. "Boss, MS. Johnson. We'll discuss your display name tomorrow at work." Me, should have asked why I didn't auction you off too. At least then I could have said I actually did it. Now I'm seriously contemplating which foot to leave with tomorrow for lower termination odds. As you can tell, my boss Ethan Sullivan has a smart mouth. Even stray dogs get roasted passing by. As CEO of Sullivan Group and sole heir to the Sullivan fortune, his only redeeming qualities are his looks, gym physique, and trust fund. Local media describes him in 8 characters: corporate rogue, unpredictable menace. Other companies' business wars? Ruthless and lawless. Ethan's corporate battles? Petty and classless. When Song family's employee messed up with a client and trended, Sullivan Group's official account posted 3 savage tweets. "What's good? Song? Customers rule. Bro. Big thanks for the windfall. Old man. You deserve a monument." Half the keyboard warriors were cursing him. Disappointed the other half didn't join. Song's CEO Rage blocked him instantly. TLDR, not illegal. Just insufferable. The reason I became his secretary? We're cut from the same cloth. My morals are flexible. His paychecks follow market rates. To exercise proper judgment, one must respect objective realities. Can't reject money for ethics. Right? To quote the classic, the offer was too damn good. Testing officials might think this could work. But not me. So the two of us teaming up basically meant Ethan was opening the gates to release the hounds. The man's reputation extends beyond his looks. Everyone knows about his sharp tongue and grudge holding. After the Brooks family deliberately lowballed Sullivan Enterprises in a previous deal, snatching a prime opportunity right from under our noses, both companies ended up bidding for the same downtown property. With our office towers facing each other, Ethan bought an enormous mirror to check his appearance daily while subtly reflecting sunlight into Brooks' building. When that failed to sufficiently annoy old Thomas after a month, I went undercover as a janitor and killed Thomas's lucky money tree with boiling water. The day after superstitious Thomas wept over his withered plant, Ethan created a diversion while I sneaked into Brooke's executive kitchen. I replaced their 12-course power lunch with 12 variations of daylily dishes, tanking their client meeting. When Thomas tried cycling home to de-stress after I'd deflated his bike tires, Ethan coincidentally drove by offering a ride, all charm and fake concern, leaving the old man torn between cursing him and thanking him. The cherry on top? Ethan planted lipstick on Thomas's shirt collar, ensuring Mrs. Brooks gave him an earful later. With Thomas thoroughly rattled both professionally and domestically, Ethan turned to Kevin, the college kid heir apparent who'd rather game than work. We bribed Kevin's secretary to unplug his router during gaming sessions and swipe his chargers. After plummeting 3 ranks and getting roasted by his online squad, the clueless brat complained to his dad, "I told you this office has bad feng shui. Even plants die here." When Kevin retreated to internet cafes, we sent in a hired beauty to keep him company. Cue Ethan's sanctimonious call to Thomas about your son's concerning behavior. The resulting parental beatdown made Kevin's boardroom tears the next day particularly satisfying. On winning the bid, Ethan blasted good luck on loop outside headquarters. Knowing his antics, I unfurled our pre-made banner, Sullivan stands strong, Brooks bows out. The combo of festive music and scarlet proclamation left Thomas sputtering, "You little rascal. I held you as a baby. This is how you repay me." Ethan adjusted his tie, deadpanning, "Uncle Thomas. Kind words build bridges. Let's keep things civil for future collaborations." On the bright side, I'm currently the most efficient assistant Ethan has ever had. He couldn't find anyone more morally flexible, professionally competent, than me. On the downside, I've spent 6 months playing the meek pushover who never talks back. And today I blew that entire act. If it were just this incident, maybe I could salvage it. But the real problem is our history. We were sworn enemies in high school, and I screwed him over right before college. Never imagined 6 years later I'd end up working for my former rival. After grad school, I landed a decent corporate job. Then my department manager started harassing me. I overreacted. Let's just say the old bastard needed 2 months of hospital recovery. Since he was the chairman's brother-in-law, I got blacklisted across the industry. That's when Ethan appeared. No revenge plots, no grudges, just offered me this high-paying position. Such a saint. To keep him sainted, I vowed to keep playing the obedient mouse. Until today's disaster. He's the type to hold grudges. What if he combines old scores with new grievances? Unthinkable. I'm going to sleep. Good night. Cruel world. 9 a.m. The company car idles outside my apartment. Ethan sits in the back seat, his tailored suit accentuating those mile-long legs. I'm mentally debating which foot to board with when his cool voice cuts through, planning to sell my car again? Never. I shake my head vigorously. Then get in. Or should I send an invitation? Sleep-deprived brain malfunctioning. I blurt, how should I enter? Left foot first or right? He deadpans, hop in. So I literally hop. Bad idea. My track and field long jump muscle memory kicks in. Momentum carries me crashing into him before either of us reacts. Thud. My forehead collides with his jaw as we slam against the door. Palms splayed against his chest. I feel the rapid thump-thump beneath crisp cotton. His cedarwood cologne floods my senses as large hands steady my waist. When I look up, his Adam's apple bobs above the loosened tie. The air turns thick enough to choke on. A hissed inhale from the driver shatters the moment. I scramble off him like scalded, hands clasped in apology. So sorry. Total accident. Ethan adjusts his collar with deliberate slowness. The shell of his ear faintly pink. Buckle up. He finally says. Gaze fixed ahead. We're late. The leather seat suddenly feels 3 degrees warmer. Note to self, never take sarcastic instructions literally again. You're doing this on purpose. Up front. Jack turned around with gossipy excitement gleaming in his eyes. But what Lucy said when she got chewed out last time, I quickly raised 3 fingers to swear innocence. I swear I have absolutely zero improper thoughts. Or else I'll never. Shut up. You're so loud. My oath got cut off mid-sentence. Ethan pinched the bridge of his nose. Inhaling deeply. I mouthed the unfinished vow, make another dime. His expression darkened instantly as he snapped at the driver. What's with the jerky driving? You're making me carsick. Jack opened his mouth hesitantly. Sir. We haven't even started the engine yet. Enough. Ethan's knuckles whitened against the leather seat. Good news, last night's disaster was behind us. Bad news, the boss had reverted to his unpredictable mood swings. I clamped my mouth shut. The limo's silence grew oppressive. It dawned on me belatedly, when swearing earlier. Had I accidentally raised 4 fingers instead of 3? No permanent allies. Only permanent interests. This business trip aimed to secure investment from the Brooks family. Half of all corporate deals get hashed out over steak and whiskey. The private dining room door swung open. Inside, a teenager in a black tee lounged sideways gaming on his phone. Combat boots propped on the velvet chair. Ethan's brows knitted. Why are you here? Hearing us. Kevin locked his smartphone. Sunlight caught the platinum streaks in his messy hair as he grinned. Arms folded behind his head. What can I say? Dad can't stand looking at your face this week. His gaze slid past Ethan, landing on me with sudden sparkle. Surprise. Gorgeous. Recognition hit like icy water. I stumbled back 2 steps. Surprise? More like full-blown nightmare. The kid who'd been flooding my DMs with good morning, pretty sister emojis for weeks, was the Brooks heir. Flashback to last Thursday, disguised in janitorial coveralls. I'd slipped into Thomas's empty office during lunch break. Heart pounding. I'd unscrewed the fertilizer bottle. A rustle came from behind the mahogany desk. Corporate landscaping. Watering plants. I blurted as a sleep must-had popped up. Hoodie creased from napping on financial reports. Instead of calling security, he'd grabbed the office kettle with a conspiratorial wink. Relax. I'm just the coffee fetching intern. Leaning closer, he'd stage whispered, big sis. Use this to water them. Drop dead. In that split second of eye contact, we both recognized the spark of mutual understanding. I thought to myself, this hottie's actually pretty decent. When he later asked to exchange contacts, my thirsty ass immediately agreed. He kept blowing up my phone with sis this and sis that, constantly asking me out. I stood him up multiple times due to last-minute work emergencies. Though I'd been bullying young Kevin with my boss, I'd never actually met him in person. Who'd have guessed they were the same person? Now that I think about it. He's such a traitor, helping outsiders screw over his own family. Kevin eagerly steered me into the empty seat between him and Ethan, thrusting the menu into my hands. Sis. Pick whatever you want, he said, completely ignoring the third wheel at the table. Anyone walking by would have thought it was a couple's date. Ethan's calculating gaze kept shifting between us, pausing briefly at Kevin's freshly bleached hair before curling into a sardonic smirk. Talk about trying too hard to be cool but ending up cringy. As the final dish arrived, Kevin subtly nudged the cilantro beef away from the center. A frosty voice suddenly cut through from my left. Ugly duckling still acts picky about cherries. The younger man's fists clenched before he seemed to remember something, shooting Ethan a challenging look. Sis. He can treat me like this. But he doesn't bully you like this at work. Does he? Why so quiet? Don't tell me it's true. Women blossom at 30 while men rot like old cucumbers. Mr. Sullivan's already 26. Right? TSK. For God's sake shut up. I mentally screamed, watching my boss's face darken like burnt toast. Desperate to defuse things, I grabbed serving chopsticks and plopped a chicken drumstick into Kevin's bowl. Eat. Just eat. The tension melted from Kevin's shoulders as dimples appeared. Whatever sis says. MS. Johnson. Ethan's voice dropped dangerously. Remember whose payroll you're on. I hastily poured him a glass of water. Boss. Hydrate. Hydrate. Kevin mumbled around his drumstick. Petty cheapskate guzzling cold water. So what if she's your secretary? She's still my senior. Come to think of it. Young Kevin was indeed enrolled at a university. The awkward silence stretched until I wanted to yell, just throw hands already. Ethan's jaw worked like he was physically restraining himself from something childish. If we're playing the connection game, why not claim the whole planet's your backyard? Campus is huge. Do you two even cross paths once a month? Senior Nancy. Aren't you going to ask who she shared a desk with for 2 years in high school? If not for some complications, you'd be calling me senior right now. 2 pairs of eyes simultaneously turned toward me. When gods clash, mortals suffer. I avoided their gazes, feigning composure while gnawing my watermelon slice. Haha. This melon's really sweet. I first met Ethan during the first semester of my sophomore year. Fresh from overseas, he embodied every stereotype of a privileged young master, aloof, impeccably mannered, treating everything with casual arrogance, including the valedictorian spot I'd fought tooth and nail to maintain. I'd always known life wasn't fair. But Ethan made me realize disparities weren't mere cracks in the pavement, they were impassable mountain ranges. My parents were college-educated professionals who clung to feudal mentalities. The maternity ward was crowded with relatives when I was born. Hearing I was female, my mother muttered ill-fated before passing out. My father distributed cigarettes with strained smiles, promising to host the celebration banquet next time. My grandmother raged in the village about wasted dowries and jinxed bloodlines. By my 6th month, my mother carried my brother. The household transformed, laughter replaced tension. Everyone scrambling to hold the newborn while forgetting the toddler starving in the corner. My survival instinct wails were dismissed as jealousy. Girls develop envy early, my mother claimed. Growing up, confusion piled upon confusion. Why did my brother get 3 fried eggs each morning while I scraped burnt crusts from the pan? Why was he driven to private academies while I memorized tattered textbooks to earn public school scholarships? Why were his tantrums over piano lessons met with coaxing? Yet my offer to substitute brought accusations of scheming? My hands turned raw scrubbing greasy dishes in icy water year-round while my brother never entered the kitchen. Midnight study sessions attracted no encouragement. Only curses about electricity bills. As the elder sister, I surrendered better clothes, did his homework, absorbed his blows without retaliation. At 13, I asked for equal treatment regarding school transportation. My boarding school required weekly commutes, his day school demanded daily chauffeur service. When my father grunted non-committally, I assumed consent. Dawn hadn't broken that Monday when my mother's feather duster lashed across my shoulders. Didn't your father promise to drive you? She sneered. The pre-dawn highway felt like traversing a monster's gullet. For 15 minutes. My father spewed vitriol so venomous I marveled that paternal love could curdle into such hatred. Why don't you die? He snarled, eyes reflecting dashboard ghoul light. School gates remained locked upon arrival. I huddled against iron railings watching sunrise paint the sky, frost crystallizing on my uniform. 2 hours passed before morning bells rang. The cold seeped deeper than winter chill, it settled in bone marrow. This understanding of my place in the family constellation. From that moment on, I carried an unyielding determination within me. It fueled my daily 2-hour pre-dawn walks covering the 3-mile distance between home and school, 9,268 steps each way. A ritual I maintained religiously for 3 years. Unlike Ethan, who never worried about money, I had no allowance. All I possessed was brittle pride worth less than pocket lint. My attempts to ask for money always ended with cultured insults shredding what little dignity I had left. While Ethan enjoyed carefree childhood games, I became entrepreneurial, collecting recyclables, doing classmates' homework for fees, distributing flyers, selling correction fluid before exams and multicolor pens afterward. The occasional beatings for embarrassing the family just hardened my resolve. The turning point came during the summer after middle school graduation. My family's vacation ended in tragedy when Ethan grabbed the steering wheel during an argument, causing a head-on collision with a truck on the highway. All 5 passengers perished. My first thought was mourning the young married couple in the truck. The rushed funeral arrangements became a battleground when my rural grandmother came to claim inheritance and compensation. She intended to leave me destitute until I brandished a kitchen knife, matching her ruthlessness. I spread stories about parental abuse and her greed until her image-conscious children relented. I got $20,000 and our dilapidated house stripped of valuables. I legally changed my name from G. Jowdy to Nancy Johnson, no longer defined by someone else's expectations. At prestigious First High School, even my top entrance exam scores didn't qualify for tuition breaks. But from freshman year, I dominated academic rankings. The monthly $500 scholarship became my lifeline. School administrators permitted off-campus living given my circumstances. My days were regimented, selling breakfasts to boarders, tutoring during lunch, peddling study notes after class, working convenience store shifts at night. Competitions provided extra income. Survival required transactional relationships. Classmates resented my fee-for-service attitude and money-grubbing reputation. When Ethan Sullivan transferred in and dethroned me as top student, the schadenfreude was palpable. Walking into class after the rankings posted, I heard the chorus, "Finally someone knocked the scholarship queen off her throne." That $500 was practically her birthright. Serves her right for always acting so superior. The lanky newcomer slouched in his seat, irritation flashing across his sharp features. Is being first really that impressive? You people never made honor roll? And $500 can't even buy decent socks. His scoff silenced the room. No wonder you're all still losers. They left disgruntled. Teenage pride outweighed everything, and their careless words often dripped with malice they didn't recognize, or perhaps chose not to. $500 might be nothing to us, but it's a fortune to Nancy. The laughter stung. Look at her clearance rack shoes. Where does she even find those $30 kicks? Do they even last? Another voice chimed in. Does she own more than 2 pairs? Never seen her switch it up. Bet she doesn't even clean them. I'd heard worse. Smirking, I countered. If you're so concerned about my wardrobe, why not start a donation fund? Sometimes embracing perceived weaknesses disarms bullies better than denial. Their snickers died as flushed cheeks betrayed their shame. Easy to mock poverty, harder to actually open wallets. The new transfer student became instant cafeteria gossip. Ethan checked every box. Good looks, straight A report card, designer wardrobe that changed daily. They whispered about his limited edition sneakers costing more than our textbooks, marveled at his effortless academic success while I grinded for every decimal point. Our contrasts became their entertainment. Where Ethan floated among cloud 9, I remained their grounded punching bag. 2 sides of the same coin, except the coin always landed tails up for me. When monthly exams revealed his stellar English but mediocre literature scores, my exact inverse, the homeroom teacher forced us into shared desk hell. During English recitations, Mrs. Wilkins showered Ethan with praise while dismissing my efforts as Chinglish needing work. His bored expression while accepting compliments made my 4 a.m. vocabulary drills feel worthless overnight. Rich people usually amused me, money's inherently charming. But Ethan's nonchalance curdled that fondness. When he mocked my pronunciation, sounds like Klingon, I roasted his essay structure. Did your gym teacher grade this with his eyes closed? We perfected the art of academic sabotage, trading top exam rankings like hot potatoes. Yet I noticed odd patterns. He always used the same chewed-up pen for tests, muttering what sounded like prayers beforehand. The realization hit, this golden boy might be cheating. My pulse quickened. Finally, a crack in the Sullivan armor. Rich people have their quirks. I was worried he'd hired some shady help. So to keep things fair before exams, I bought 2 identical pens, one for Ethan and one for me. The switch worked like a charm. Our history teacher walked into class with graded papers, giving our direction this knowing look. Definitely staring at Ethan. The 2 lowest scores in the entire grade came from our class. Ethan Sullivan, she announced. 25. The classroom went dead silent. Out of 100 points, 25 was catastrophically bad. The guy looked genuinely shocked when she handed him the paper. "You're truly a disgraceful traitor," the teacher said with theatrical disappointment. I snorted before I could stop myself. Her glare shifted to me. "Don't laugh, Nancy. You're no better." 20. The whole class erupted, Ethan included. Guess laughter doesn't disappear, it just gets redistributed. Looking at my test, I realized all my essay sections were completely blank, cleaner than a freshly wiped whiteboard. His paper showed the same issue. We exchanged glances and rummaged through our pencil cases. The pen barrel read, "Disappearing ink." Since it wasn't essential, I'd told the store owner to give me the cheapest option. Lesson learned: you get what you pay for. The multiple choice section worth 25 points got scanned by machines using number 2 pencils. So our disappearing pens only affected the 75-point essays. Turned out he'd aced all multiple choice questions while I'd missed one. "Did you swap my pen?" he demanded. I explained my reasoning, watching his expression harden. When he finally looked up, his glare could have frozen lava. "Nancy, are you insane?" I prayed to Athena, the goddess of wisdom, not some cheap parlor trick. "Oh," I shrugged. "Then I'll pray to Confucius next time for fairness." That incident revealed his true vindictive nature. Knowing I often overslept and had to sneak over the school wall to avoid tardy marks during morning study hall, this guy who rarely showed up himself suddenly joined the discipline committee. He started camping behind that wall at dawn daily, catching me every single time. My demerit points piled up for a month straight, tanking my conduct score that's tied to the $1,000 honor student award. Mess with my points? Fine. Mess with my money? Not happening. During PE assessments, I made sure to announce his scores extra loud for everyone to hear. High jump, 1.3 meters. Long jump, 1.6 meters. 50-meter dash, 9.8 seconds. 800-meter run, 5 minutes. Pull-ups, 0. The crowd snickers followed us across the field. I raised my voice and shouted, 179 centimeters. He finally snapped, yelling, "Bullshit. I'm clearly 185. Feigning fear. I replied, "Okay. Okay. Whatever Ethan says goes." His jaw muscles twitched with barely contained rage. I blinked innocently. "Cross my business and you cross the line. I'll make sure you regret this." When the New Year talent show rolled around, our teacher assigned class performances. We both knew I couldn't sing and he couldn't dance. Yet our names appeared on the rehearsal list anyway, me as solo vocalist, Ethan as backup dancer. We exchanged sour looks, realizing we'd shot ourselves in the foot. Flushing crimson, I approached the teacher. "I really can't perform. I'm terrible at singing." The elderly educator patted my shoulder. Now, Nancy. No need for false modesty." The actual performance proved catastrophic. My off-key warbling made the audience wince, while Ethan's dance devolved into him tripping over his own limbs. Peals of laughter erupted from the crowd. After agonizing silence, the teacher cleared his throat. "Well, Nancy certainly has strong vocal projection. Robust health. That one. And Ethan here, clearly gets enough calcium. Those bones are rock solid." Such academic dedication from both. Mortification burned through me. Without looking, I knew Ethan's ears had turned that telltale scarlet. Our Cold War should have escalated. But then came the scholarship meeting. Days later, someone leaked my financial aid application to the class. Though the culprit got disciplined, the damage was done. My private struggles became public spectacle. Whispers spread like wildfire that I'd jinxed my family to death. That misfortune clung to me like static. Self-appointed do-gooders urged Ethan to ditch me. I braced for his betrayal. Instead, he didn't even look up from his textbook. Drawling, "Never seen bound feet? Congrats. You've found bound brains. Empty skulls are fixable, but rotting ones? Can't cure stupid. Bad grades can improve. Ugly mugs get surgery. But rotten cores?" His smirk turned lethal. 10 grandmas gossiping over mahjong couldn't match your diarrhea mouths. The would-be saviors scattered like roaches under light. The afternoon sun cast long shadows as Ethan stood rigid, strands of hair creating jagged patterns across his scowling face. He turned his head sharply, lips curling in a sneer. "You sure know how to chew me out like some rookie," I muttered when his tirade finally stopped. "But you go easy on everyone else. Selective treatment much, Nancy? Those are paying clients." I shrugged, stacking textbooks into my bag. Without blinking, Ethan pulled 10 crisp $100 bills from his jacket and slapped them on the desk. "I'm commissioning you to clap back next time. Do it well and there's a performance bonus." My resolve crumbled faster than chalk dust. Most classmates barely scraped together $100 for my tutoring services all semester. Snatching the cash with both hands, I flashed my most obsequious grin. "Right away, boss. Wouldn't dream of crossing the money." I paused mid-bow. "Just so we're clear, if my verbal smackdowns accidentally curse your lineage, save it." He cut me off, adjusting his Nike wristband with deliberate swagger. "Sullivans don't believe in that hocus pocus. Cash rules everything here." At 8:55 p.m., I was threading through classroom desks when panicked whispers snagged my attention. "Did you hear? There's some creep exposing himself near Shaw Street. 3 girls already reported him." My fingers froze on my backpack zipper. Ethan abruptly stood, then sank back into his seat like the movement never happened. "Where'd you say your part-time job was again?" His tone carried forced nonchalance. "Convenience store off Shaw Street. Even if I quit, I still need to get home." I checked my cracked phone screen. 8:59. Detour adds an hour. My shift starts at 9:15. Late clock in means half pay. Screw that. "Johnson." His chair screeched as he lunged up. "Let me drive you." But I was already sprinting down the corridor. Let perverts try me. Between bartending gigs and late-night shifts, I'd poured every spare cent into Krav Maga classes. Coach said I had natural talent, long limbs, quick reflexes, and the survival instincts of a cornered raccoon. The alley reeked of stale urine. 10 paces ahead, a sagging suit jacket flapped open obscenely. The man's laughter bubbled with meth-fueled hysteria. Classic Tuesday night. I sighed, dropping my bag. My palms found the cool brick wall as I launched into a textbook spinning heel kick. The satisfying thud of dress shoes skidding across pavement harmonized with my battle cry, "Nobody messes with my grind." I kicked him square in the groin, leaving him whimpering helplessly. I aimed precisely at the most vulnerable spots, beating him until he begged for mercy. Retrieving my foot, I turned to find my backpack. A teenage boy in white shirt and black pants stood pressed against the wall, clutching my bag in one hand and a brick in the other. Seeing me look back, he immediately dropped the brick. "I saw nothing," he stated flatly. After a pause, he added, "Really?" At the police station, Ethan maintained perfect composure. "Officer, every word I said is true. I witnessed that creep trying to assault her when Nancy suddenly roared like an angry lion. The pervert got so startled he smashed face first into the wall." I dabbed my eyes and nodded innocently. The female officer handed us warm water with a smile. "Relax. This counts as self-defense. You did the right thing. That guy's got prior arrests anyway. Not only did I walk away unscathed, but I received $500 reward. When I explained the incident to my boss Ethan at my part-time job, he insisted I take the night off with full pay. Money truly buys happiness. Even Ethan seemed tolerable now. Remembering how he'd backed me up, I slung my arm around his shoulders. Let me treat you to late-night snacks. Your pick? He turned slightly, lips quirking upward. Spicy hot pot. Look who's slumming it now. Mr. Fancy Pants. I grinned. That's my favorite too. He drowned his portion in chili oil despite my warnings. More flavor, he argued stubbornly. 3 bathroom trips later, his lips resembled swollen sausages. Money indeed works miracles. After that night, we declared truce. No more early morning ambushes. I tutored him in Chinese. He helped me with English, even scoring me a lucrative weekend tutoring gig worth $500. I formally apologized for misjudging him. He wasn't some pretentious rich kid but my personal cash cow. On the national holiday's final day, my Pomeranian Chucho barked furiously at the door. The tiny fluffball thought himself a Rottweiler. Opening up, I found Ethan holding a majestic golden retriever's leash, visibly preening. Meet my purebred champion. Luxurious coat. Perfect conformation worth every penny. Nice. I shrugged. Chio chio. A soccer-sized fur missile came barreling out, circling my legs excitedly. Ethan blinked, momentarily thrown, then smoothly recovered his composure, pointing at Chio chio. I scoffed. That runt of yours is useless. My boy's not just handsome, he's a real protector. After listening to his bragging for 5 minutes straight, I finally got it. This punk just came to show off his dog. Couldn't even tell the breed, probably some mutt. I crouched down and patted Chocho's head. Attack! He called you a mutt. The black fur missile shot forward before I finished speaking, barking with terrifying ferocity. The golden retriever's eyes bulged as it scrambled backward, whimpering. Ethan's face paled as he backpedaled, shouting, Dude! I didn't mean you. I said hybrid breed. Chocho never actually bit anyone, but his intimidation game was top tier. Munching watermelon slices. I enjoyed the show. It took Ethan screaming big bro until his throat went raw before Chocho finally settled like a king at my feet. Collapsing onto the grass, Ethan gasped for air. Nancy, you did that on purpose. Shouldn't have driven across town to flex your purebred. His jaw twitched. Who's flexing? I came to give you this dog. Oh shoot. My bad. I jumped up, shoving my half-eaten watermelon into his arms. Here. Have a seat. Enjoy the melon. He snorted. Street mutts got more honor than book-smart schemers. Without ceremony, he plopped onto my folding stool and took 2 huge bites. Then froze mid-chew, suddenly realizing we were sharing the same slice. The blush started at his ears, flooding across his neck like spilled wine. Fumbling in his pocket, he thrust a Lucky Charm at me. Happy birthday. Then he bolted like the hounds of hell chased him, still clutching my watermelon. I stared at the empty path long after he disappeared, rubbing my stinging eyes. I muttered about the wind kicking up dust. But the more I rubbed, the worse it burned. They'd all laughed at my scholarship application. He'd noticed the birthdate scribbled in the corner. Turns out you don't need shared blood for someone to cross states just to wish you safety. Results day found us tied at 8th statewide. When I returned to school for paperwork, I bought flowers for our homeroom teacher. Outside the staff room, their voices carried. That Nancy girl finally made it. Pretty face plus top university? She'll marry well. You think her and Ethan? Don't be daft. She only got that scholarship because they sat together. Outside these gates, she'll never touch his world. I left the bouquet by the trash can, The words churned in my mouth, but I couldn't formulate a rebuttal. That night, my phone buzzed with a message. Ethan asked where I planned to attend college. I said I hadn't decided yet. He replied, "I'm going to a university." I held my breath, instinctively dreading his next words. "Anyway, I'm not going to A." "Then where?" My thoughts tangled as I blurted, "Cambridge." "Sold my place for it. The recent government buyout on my childhood home left me homeless. $100,000 couldn't fill the chasm between us." "Fine," he said. On orientation day at a university, an international call lit up my screen. The caller ID showed the UK. Silence stretched until faint breathing came through. "Nancy." His voice cracked. "Did you make a mistake on your college application?" I stayed quiet. He continued hurriedly, "It's okay, I've got money now. What if I fly back? Maybe I like a university too?" I shut my eyes slowly. "Don't." The line went staticky before he asked, "Did you open the fortune pouch?" I shook my head, then remembered he couldn't see. "No." "Will you? Please?" The plea hung heavy. "Won't. Can't." His bitter laugh rattled the receiver. "Christ. Nancy. Are you really this oblivious?" Tears pricked my eyes, grateful yet devastated. "Oblivious," I echoed. "Always was. Always will be." His voice turned gravel rough. "Nancy. You're unbelievable. My heart isn't made of stone." Yet I choked on unspoken words. Stepping outside, moonlight silvered the path ahead. At 18, standing at life's crossroads, my pride warred with insecurities. The darkness threatened to swallow those who hesitated. Work stuff went smooth. I later told Kevin over dinner. He blinked those puppy dog eyes, voice muffled by a milkshake straw. "Come on, sis. Dad reamed me hard last time. Take pity?" I cleared my throat nervously. Just as I was about to agree, Ethan's eyes blazed with undisguised threat. "Try saying yes and I'll dock your salary." The words died in my throat. His broad frame stepped forward, completely blocking Kevin from view. The young heir ground his molars. "Mr. Sullivan. I'm the client here. The contract's already signed. Even if you were my own father. Unless you want to pay triple damages for breach of contract." Ethan drawled, enunciating each syllable with legal precision. Kevin's face cycled through shades of crimson before he spat. "You'll regret this. I'll be crying on Grandpa Sullivan's doorstep tomorrow." "Still throwing tantrums like a child," Ethan remarked dryly after Kevin's dramatic exit. He gestured toward his car. "Let's go. Nancy. It's 10 p.m. You think I'm made of money? Or are you trying to set me up? If anything happens to my secretary, I lose a decade's work. 2 strikes against the boss in one night. Might as well embrace my impending unemployment." I pulled out my burner phone and posted, "Available for bookings. Nationwide travel. Limited slots. DM offers." Messages flooded in instantly. Influencers. B-list celebrities. Trust fund princesses. "Here's the deal, my boss might be insufferable, but he's obscenely wealthy and stupidly handsome. His unorthodox antics make him a walking headline in CEO circles. In this attention economy, everyone wants a piece of his spotlight. Actress wants red carpet clout. Socialite needs tabloid buzz. They pay. Don't want to pay? Sullivan Legal will bankrupt you." Thus formed our little ecosystem, thirsty clout chasers with cash, a profit-minded executive, and me, the entrepreneurial matchmaker. I systematized it with tiered pricing: casual sighting, $5,000. Dinner roomer, $15,000. Accidental hotel lobby encounter, $30,000. Market forces demand innovation. Last quarter, I introduced surge pricing during Fashion Week. The bidding war between 2 oil heiresses funded my Bali vacation. Capitalism. Baby. For entertainment activities like dining out, shopping, watching movies, minimum 50 holy shits each. For physical activities like horseback riding, shooting, rock climbing, minimum 100 holy shits each. Since those opportunities are once in a blue moon. Of course. I never actually compromised Ethan's reputation. The beauty of rumors lies in their ambiguity. In the digital world, fake couples generate the most buzz. Post an obvious hand-holding photo of the real deal? People get bored. But those grainy shots with suggestive angles and plausible deniability? Pure gold. All I had to do was leak Ethan's schedule. After he left venues, fans would swarm in to take photos mimicking his poses at those locations. Instant viral gossip. Naturally, these opportunities were tied to Ethan's actual business trips. Limited slots meant highest bidder takes all. For dissatisfied customers, I occasionally provided after-sales services to ensure they felt their money was well spent. To prevent scheduling conflicts, I even created a timeshare spreadsheet. Did I do all this for free? Please. Every middleman deserves their cut. Clients paid whatever they wanted, pay too little. No future reservations, pay generously. Instant VIP status for next time. As my resignation approached, I went all out. Accidentally overshot and flooded the internet with Ethan's scandals while the man himself worked like a dog. Online Ethan, shopping with models. Real Ethan, schmoozing investors at endless dinners. His schedule had him either sealing deals or en route to new ones. No time left for yelling at employees. The whole company thrived while our boss slowly withered. Watching my bank balance grow, I guilt-bought Ethan a tiny cake. Palm-sized. $200. That wasn't dessert, that was my soul priced by the gram. Ethan stared at his itinerary. Forehead veins pulsing. Nancy. Is Sullivan Enterprises going bankrupt? I blinked innocently. If we were, I'd have jumped ship already. He inhaled sharply. Then explain why I'm taking 2 flights across 3 cities today. I'm a CEO. Not a goddamn pack mule. I clasped my chest dramatically. Sir. At your prime age. Would you really choose complacency? I hate this too. But Miss Anderson, Miss Parker, and Oscar winner MS. White outbid everyone for today's slots. As Ethan's jaw tightened for a profanity-laced tirade, I swiftly unwrapped the cake and shoved a forkful into his mouth. Eat up, boss. Anger ages you. Bite after bite. His scowl softened until he looked almost serene. He tapped the desk rhythmically. Nancy, did you win the lottery or grow a conscience? Both. I lied sweetly. No. I just felt like being nicer to the boss. His eyes flickered as he raised an eyebrow with a smirk. Fine. We'll follow your itinerary. Ethan Sullivan trended at #1 on social media after being spotted dating 3 different women in 3 cities within a single day. Netizens dubbed him the new time management guru. That evening, his parents gave him an earful. Even his usually elegant mother sounded frantic. Ethan Sullivan. When will you stop fooling around at your age? His father growled, I had a wife and kids by your age. What are you doing with your life? Ethan glanced at me helplessly. Saving up for marriage funds. After hanging up, he sighed, long lashes shadowing his eyes. Nancy. I haven't eaten yet. I gasped dramatically. You skipped dinner? What if you collapse? Who'd sign my paychecks? Fishing out my phone. I ordered, transfer $500 to me as a penalty. Remember to eat next time. I actually had 2 bowls earlier. He admitted. Forgot during the meeting. I thrust my phone closer. Overeating's worse. That's $1,000 fine. Control your portions. His expression turned pained. During our coastal business trip, we visited a duty-free store. No woman could resist this temptation, myself included. I agonized over lipstick shades while calculating discounts. Just buy them all. Ethan said. With my salary? I scoffed. I'm broke. Company perk for Sullivan Group employees. My eyes widened. Since when? He patted my shoulder. Since you've never been CEO. Touché. I left with armfuls of shopping bags. You're so kind. Sir. How kind exactly? He pressed. Leaning closer. These centuries-old pleasantries, do you take them seriously? Trying to ruin me? I hedged carefully. Perfect? He rolled his eyes at me. Hypocrite. Perhaps from overexcitement. My period came early. I told Ethan to return to the hotel first while I went to the convenience store downstairs for supplies. Upon returning, I swiped my keycard and rushed toward the bathroom clutching sanitary pads. Pushing the door open, I found steam swirling around Ethan's bare ass in the shower, quite perky. I might add. The warm lighting accentuated his defined shoulders, tapered waist, and those glistening muscles. He turned in panic, our eyes locking. Flustered, he tried covering himself front and back simultaneously. Logic dictated I should scream, cover my eyes, and flee. Instead, my traitorous eyes widened, throat parched. Sir, I croaked. Is this part of the business trip benefits? Realizing modesty was futile, he squatted covering his face. Exasperated. Nancy, 10 employees might produce 4 like you. I knew you loved money. But this? My fault entirely. Hidden desires surfaced. The vivid memory haunted my dreams all night. Next morning at the elevator bank, I stiffened upon encountering Ethan. Nancy. 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 Huh? I snapped to attention, finding him crimson-faced. 3 times I called you. My apologies. Temporary deafness. How may I assist you? He cleared his throat, adjusting his tie, smoothing his jacket, tousling his hair. Well, looks great. I mumbled without glancing up. At least look when you lie. He barked. One fleeting glance sufficed. Perfect. Ass towards heaven. Eyes toward dirt. He muttered, storming off. Only then I noticed his new suit, snug around the waist, accentuating that damned perky rear. God help me. Keep staring and I'll end up in jail. By noon, focus evaporated. Every blink replayed that sculpted behind. Work? Impossible. I took over as the cleaning lady mopping outside Ethan's office. Grabbing the mop, I eavesdropped while polishing the floor to a mirror shine. Like staring at perky butts? I'll let those eyes feast. That 3-square-foot area got 50 passes, tiles gleaming brighter than the accounting manager's bald spot. Ethan stared at me by the doorway, his scolding words dying as he slipped and landed hard on his rear. Your butt, I mean. Are you okay? I asked as he straightened his crooked glasses. He roared. Nancy, are you trying to kill me? I took 2 steps back. I'm the one on my period. But you're acting moodier than a manned PMS case. Remember who signs your paychecks. I dropped to my knees in a dramatic slide, patting his heaving chest. Don't be mad. I beg you. Still waiting on this month's salary. When Ethan decided to attend the charity gala, something he usually avoided, he dragged me along. His sudden whimsy made me suspect midlife crisis hormones. He even hired stylists. Any dress I want? I eyed the rack of gowns. Within decency laws, you normally dress like a potato sack. But potato sacks don't get harassed. I hesitated. Maybe I'll skip this. He straightened, suddenly solemn. Nancy, let me clarify, wear whatever empowers you. That's your right as my employee. I'll handle any consequences. My breath caught. For years I'd minimized curves to avoid trouble. First time someone promised backup instead of victim blaming. The black backless mermaid gown made Ethan cover his nose, ears flaming red. You're Wearing that. Ugly? Devastating. His voice cracked. Makes me look like your awkward cousin. I snorted. Honey. I'd rock burlap couture. The gala swarmed with sharks. My skin crawled when that bloated creep who'd cornered me last year reappeared, piggish eyes raking my silhouette. Well, if it isn't Miss Johnson. His whiskey breath hit my face. Still dressing like a whore's closet threw up? Funny. I smiled sweetly. You still look like last year's trash, unwanted and stinking up the place. I rolled my eyes and made a castration gesture with my palm. The sinister look on his face deepened as he raised his wine glass to approach. Suddenly, a handkerchief-wrapped fingertip jabbed his protruding belly. Back off. Ethan withdrew his hand. Manager Young should maintain proper distance. Wouldn't want any miscarriage accusations. Would we? He sniffed theatrically. What's that stench? Smells like urine. Must be your tear ducts leaking bladder juice. Making everything look indecent through piss-colored lenses. The middle-aged man turned purple with rage. Long time no see. Mr. Sullivan. Doesn't matter how long it's been, you still look like a walking turtle shell. Do you avoid mirrors? Oh wait. Self-awareness requires a brain. Ethan's smirk widened. Your face resembles a wrongful conviction case file. And no amount of hot water can scrub off that perverted stench. The man's neck veins bulged. Speechless against the verbal assault. Ethan patted the man's distended stomach with mock sympathy. Straight pipes from colon to cerebellum? Must have lost brain mass dieting. Better prepare your defense for embezzlement charges before facing your brother-in-law. He grabbed my arm and strode out triumphantly. Did we come just to insult him? I asked. His grin turned wolfish. Mostly. Satisfying. Wasn't it? Later. I requested time off from my boss. Where to? Ethan raised an eyebrow. Visiting graves. He cleared his throat. I'll drive. Should check on employees' family welfare. I almost refused. But changed tack. Fine. At the cemetery. Dead leaves clung to the neglected headstone. I came annually not to mourn, but to gloat silently. As I mentally rehearsed fresh curses, Ethan produced a bottle of premium baijiu from his coat, pouring it over my father's grave while muttering, "Have you lost your mind?" I choked out. "I've never even burned joss paper for them. They treated you horribly." I snapped. His pouring hand froze mid-air. Quick as lightning, he redirected the liquor to the adjacent grave. "Uncle." He addressed the stranger's tombstone. "The missing gulps? Collect from next door." The usually sharp executive now looked adorably foolish. I couldn't look away. Finally sighing, I let a smile surface. Wealth or looks? Might as well fall for both. That night, I logged into my infamous social media account, the one tied to my most humiliating moment. New post: what if you develop feelings for your nemesis? The top comment read, "Marry him and play him hard." The account username was Innocent CEO and Charming Secretary. Moments later, the phone rang. Ethan was calling. He said, "Nancy, there's an investment opportunity here. Low risk. High return. Wanna jump in?" Sounded like a scam. I sneered. "Do I look like I need your money? What's the catch? Come down and I'll explain face to face." Peering through the window, I saw his familiar car parked below. I grabbed my coat. Inexplicably nervous. Standing before him, he demanded, "Lend me $100,000. My pounding heart suddenly stilled. This felt sketchier by the minute. Yet I transferred the money anyway. His eyes glittered as he pocketed his phone. "Be my girlfriend. Say yes and you'll get 10 million plus me. Say no and I'll vanish with the cash. Your call." "You're such a jerk. What if we get married?" "Now you're overstepping," I protested, though my traitorous heart raced. "I'll allow this overstepping. His gaze ignited, crushing me in an embrace. He whispered against my hair, "Just promise you'll never auction me off again." "When did you figure it out?" "From the first time. You'd treat me to fancy dinners whenever the payments cleared." The memory flooded back, that red lucky pouch I'd opened after our call. Inside lay a protective charm and handwritten note, "You had me at hello. I fell for you at first sight too." I confessed. His arms tightened as afternoon sunlight gilded the dashboard. 26, feeling infinitely more vulnerable than 18. When love crashes like summer thunder, even the cautious raise white flags.